The Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles.
Charles, Donald Trump is never going to be president of the United States again. It's all over. He may as well give up. I say this after yesterday.
What?
When I watched Joe Biden, Taylor Swift, the CIA, and a little bit, the Kansas City Chiefs. They were slightly involved. But mostly Biden, Taylor Swift, and the CIA rigged the Super Bowl so that the Chiefs, Taylor's team won in the most dramatic of fashions with just seconds left on the clock. It's all over. Trump's finished.
Wow. Well, luckily Joe Biden won't remember the victory anyway. So
let's catch up. You're referring, of course, to the special counsel's report just submitted that found that he had memory loss, which was extremely devastating for his campaign.
Yeah. No, it'll be actually very good, won't it, if there is an inquiry into this conspiracy to win and rig the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because Joe Biden will be able to get up there and testify very honestly that he can't remember anything.
As proven by the special counsel.
Yeah.
This is all part of his grand plan. And this is the thing I want to talk about today. Joe Biden is a political genius. He has decades of experience.
Yes.
And no one's realised it until today.
He's the Taylor Swift of politics, isn't he?
He is the Taylor Swift. He's just always there, never goes away.
Yes.
You wonder what all the fuss is about, and yet still there.
Yes.
Unflushable, so to speak.
Before we get into the Joe Biden thing, can we just recap the Super Bowl? Because I must admit I didn't catch it and I didn't actually understand it. As far as I could work out, so they actually played football, did they? Because
Not much.
I didn't see any clips of the football. All I saw were photos of Taylor Swift. I assumed that Taylor Swift must have won the Super Bowl or something.
She did. No, she was the real victory.
Yeah.
She was the real victor.
And she was wearing a costume made by an Australian designer.
Well, she's trying to rig the Australian election as well.
That's right. Right. So what's this conspiracy theory? Like who came up with this theory? Like, what is this theory?
So in Las Vegas, they had the Super Bowl, absolutely massive event, of course. And Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback from Kansas City, basically puppet mastered the game. And this is the genius because it's going to be the CIA psyop thing with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Joe Biden to destroy Donald Trump. That was the plan. But the person who actually did it was this guy, Patrick Mahomes, who got his third MVP award, third most valuable player award, in his third Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and basically delivered the trophy to the Chiefs. We're supposed to ignore the fact that their name is overtly racist, by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a little bit uncomfortable. That's not part of the narrative. Forget that.
Unless it was referring to the commander-in-chief, i.e. Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Wow. That's right. So basically, if you wanted to believe that the whole thing was rigged, the way that the game unfolded would really have made you think that. Because the 49ers, San Francisco, were ahead with literally seconds. I think it was 3 seconds left on the clock.
Yep.
And then Mahomes sort of basically set up the field goal and they equalised for overtime. It's only ever gone into overtime twice before. And then with seconds left on the clock, at the end of overtime, Heath managed to find a player through the ball to the player who ran into the end zone and got a touchdown.
Wow.
So twice this guy just absolutely delivered the goods.
So what happens if you get to the end of overtime and they're still tied?
I have no idea. I think that Joe Biden just brings the tanks onto the pitch and just nationalises the trophy.
Invade a different country.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, look, I can't pretend to know much about the Super Bowl, but it was very exciting.
Yes.
And the thing about the Super Bowl that I'd forgotten is that it's a game of 4 15-minute quarters.
Oh, really? Is it that short?
It takes more than 3 hours.
Right.
Because they're constantly stopping the clock.
Yes.
So, like by that standard, Biden's only been president for about 9 months if they were going to time it the same way as the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And this podcast is actually short. So it was an extraordinary thing to watch. And so they somehow just twice managed to come back just when San Francisco thought they were going to win. So, I mean, was it rigged? Can't prove to me that it wasn't rigged. That's how a good conspiracy theory works. Can't prove to me it's not true.
So do we think that Joe Biden is going to win the election in a similar manner? Like,
yes, coming from behind. Well, that's what Donald Trump would say.
Yes.
He would lose the election.
Yes.
But then he's, doesn't he pick on, black electoral workers who, what did they have that? It was like a Tic Tac box or something? It was a lolly. The mother and daughter, one of them passed a lolly or something to another. And the belief was that it was a USB drive that had lots of votes on it. And so as a result, they were harassed and doxxed and their lives made an absolute misery. And a court recently awarded them tens of millions of dollars of damages against Donald Trump because of that.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So this is the way you can make money in Biden's America. Of course they had the USB drive. Of course the theory was true. And they were trying to rig the election. And they rigged it so well, just like with the Super Bowl, because Biden is the puppet master.
Yes. And so are the San Francisco 49ers going to now hold an insurrection?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, right. Okay. And they'll storm, instead of the Capitol, where will they storm? The MGM Grand in Las Vegas or
NFL
something.
headquarters, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or even just Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's love nest.
Yes.
That would work.
Except she won't be there because she'll be on a jet.
She'll be here in Australia. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, it's all going to come down here.
So you know that to get to the Super Bowl, she had to do her concert in Tokyo.
Yep.
She then hopped on a private jet and jetted over and made it within hours.
Yeah,
of the Super Bowl.
barely
So,
made it.
Yeah.
And Americans thought she wouldn't make it because they don't understand time zones in
Yes,
America.
yes. So they got all confused.
They were all
didn't
worried.
realise. Yeah.
And did you see that the US Embassy, I think it was in Tokyo, the US Embassy actually said, don't worry, it'll be fine. And they put out this tweet with all these really annoying Taylor Swift song title puns. But
Oh, God.
yeah, if you basically understand that Tokyo is, whatever it is, 15 hours ahead of Las Vegas, it's not a problem at all.
But one of the interesting things I noted was that actually they had a backup jet.
Did
so
they?
they actually flew another jet over to Tokyo so that if one jet, didn't start properly or, like it was a bit cold and the choke didn't work or whatever, they'd be able to just still make it. Imagine having that level of just excess in your life.
And I presume that the other jet was Air Force One.
Yes, of
As
course.
part of the plot.
Yes, that's where they organised the whole conspiracy from.
So I might sound like I'm being a bit ridiculous about this whole Taylor Swift conspiracy theory thing.
Yes.
But the people who are is Fox News. Have a listen to this.
I mean, I like her music. She's all right. But, have you ever wondered why or how she blew up like this? Well, around 4 years ago, the Pentagon's Psychological Operations Unit floated turning Taylor Swift into an asset. What kind of asset? A psyop for combating online misinformation. So is Swift a front for a covert political agenda? Primetime obviously has no evidence. If we did, we'd share it. But we're curious because the pop star who endorsed Biden is urging millions of her followers to vote. And her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, sponsored by Pfizer.
Wait a minute. So this is not a joke. This is true. This is a true conspiracy theory.
It's a true conspiracy theory.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were sort of doing a bit.
No, Fox News. Fox News, look, whether it's a true conspiracy theory, like I'm saying it's definitely true, or whether it's just Fox News are believing it and we're making fun of them, listeners can decide for themselves. But no, this is the very widespread view.
You're right.
That the only way that because they've acknowledged the one thing.
The only way that a team that is so good that they made it to the Super Bowl could win the Super Bowl is by some elaborate conspiracy involving the
an
military
ancient president
an
and the
ancient
CIA.
president who can't remember anything.
No, so a man
And a
who's
pop
clearly
star.
getting senile and a pop star.
Yes.
But the most implausible part of this story, Charles, let's not
Yes.
forget, the most unbelievable part of this is the idea that the CIA could rig something. This is the organisation that, and we did a whole podcast about this, do you remember? Do you remember all the times they tried to kill Fidel Castro and couldn't do it?
Yes.
They're terrible at rigging things.
Yes.
They can't even assassinate Donald Trump.
But do you think they want to? I would have thought that the CIA would be on Donald Trump's side.
They
wouldn't they?
probably are, yeah. Probably are.
Maybe this conspiracy theory is an elaborate conspiracy theory
Oh my God, you're right.
to sow doubt.
It's a false flag.
It's a false flag operation.
planted by Team Trump.
Yes.
So that if Biden wins the election legitimately,
Yes.
then everyone won't believe it because they'll think it was the CIA puppet masters.
Yeah. Well, actually, that is plausible. I do believe that one. Yeah.
All right, more in just a second.
The Chaser Report. News a few days after it happens.
So the election is getting crazier over there. And the point where you have Fox News people actually genuinely arguing that somehow the theory wasn't, it didn't happen. The theory was that Taylor Swift was going to come on at halftime somehow in the Super Bowl when the whole of America was watching it with Usher. I'm not sure. Usher was busy taking his clothes off. He was endorsing a lack of T-shirts. He wasn't endorsing Joe Biden.
Sorry, who's Usher?
Usher was the performer at the halftime concert.
Oh, right, okay.
The pop star.
Yeah.
Very-
it wasn't just an Usher.
Very muscly. No, he wasn't an
Yeah,
Usher.
he wasn't an
They just got
Usher.
some
They-
Usher.
they got
Come
an
and do the
Usher.
halftime show. That would have been great. And the theory was that Taylor would come out, kiss Travis Kelce. I don't know quite how that would endorse Joe Biden, but the theory was
Yes.
that she would use her superstardom to endorse Biden. And to be fair, she probably will at some point.
Do you reckon? Why on it? What's the upside of her endorsing Joe Biden? Why would you ever align yourself to someone? He's not going to remember it. He's not going to remember the endorsement. Like, there's no upside. Like, she just like what's the point?
Donald Trump doesn't believe that she will, because he said, I made so much money for her when I changed copyright law in 2018. Why would she endorse Joe Biden? He didn't do anything for her.
Yeah, but I suppose the point is, if she doesn't endorse Joe Biden, then does that mean that she is endorsing Donald Trump?
I mean, hang on a second. What's really going to happen? It's clear now.
Oh, what?
Well, Taylor Swift is going to be president.
Draft Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Joe Biden's not going to make it.
That's what the Super Bowl was all designed. It was cover to organise the meeting between Joe Biden and Taylor Swift to orchestrate
to work out the succession.
the handover. Yes, that makes total sense. That's so much.
Is exactly what it is.
See, it's Occam's razor. That's what you need in moments like this, is Occam's razor. It's always the simplest explanation is often the truest.
I've just checked her date of birth. She's born December the 13th, 1989. That means she will just have turned 35 by the time she's sworn in as president on January the 20th, 2025.
Right. So does that is that good enough?
You've got to be 35 to be president in the United States. So she just will have turned 35. So she's fine, I think. Yeah, she can go ahead.
Okay, done. Yeah. So is that a constitution, like, is that coming from like a constitutional judge or just from what you reckon?
No, I think the limit's 35 because people have said Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez can't run yet because she's too young.
But isn't the point that you've got to be like when you're running, or is it just when you're
I don't know.
inducted?
I don't know. I'm assuming when you're sworn in, you've got to be 35.
Yeah, okay. Well, then that's fine. Okay, done.
Well, if that's not the rule before, it will be for Taylor. She'll get
And
them to
so
change the
why
rules.
would Taylor Swift forego her billion-dollar music empire for having to sign bills about, making, transgender people feel bad about themselves and stuff?
Well, why would she want to have the job of being president?
Yes.
See, this is where the conspiracy theory falls down, isn't it? A little
Yeah.
bit, isn't it? It's a shit job. Like, when you're president, you have constant pressure. I mean, you do get to live in a very fancy old house, I suppose, but she can buy whatever house she wants.
Yes.
But here's the thing. You can't do a damn thing. And why did Joe Biden even want the job? He knows better than anybody that a president can't do shit.
I'll tell you what, though. That briefcase that they carry around with the nuclear codes, that would be fun.
That's what she wants. Taylor's version.
Just the power.
The nuclear briefcase,
the
Taylor's
feeling.
version.
And also, she sort of needs the next, like she's won the music. She's got more Grammys than anyone in the history of the Grammys.
You're thinking of Beyonce, but that's okay.
She's
at least somebody has more Grammys than anyone else.
She's won.
She's
the
won
music
best.
industry.
She's won album of the year more than anyone else.
Yeah,
in the
like
history of the
she's
industry.
basically like she's done that. It's like Ash Barty, right? Like
she's
you
made
sort
billions
of
of
become
dollars.
number one, and then you go, well, what next?
The Eras tour is the most successful tour in the history of touring.
In the history of touring, yeah.
Are you going?
I spend a day refreshing my browser.
No, they're releasing more. They're releasing limited view tickets today. They are 4 p.m.
What the fuck are we doing on this podcast?
Not until 4. That's
okay.
4 p.m.
Jesus.
You can pay, I think it's $65 to look at a wall in the same space where Taylor Swift is singing to people who can see her.
Worth it.
You
Totally
reckon?
worth it.
To go to Homebush. She's saying it's pretty extraordinary. 4 nights in a row at the Olympic Stadium.
I've heard rumours, Dom, that actually the Homebush show is going to be particularly special.
Is it?
Because that is where Taylor Swift, and you heard it here first, is intending to announce her candidacy for the presidency of the United States of America.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
And Joe Biden will come in with a helicopter.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Marine One will fly in and he'll greet the crowd and say, Taylor, it's all you.
Yep.
It's all you. And then he'll forget what her name is and he'll say, Angela.
I endorse Taylor Trump.
And that's what's going to happen in Sydney. How exciting.
Yeah, and it's because it's the obvious place to announce the candidacy.
Accor Stadium.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who will be her running mate? Will it be Travis Kelce, her boyfriend?
No, that's a good. I think you want a bit of diversity. I mean, Beyonce.
Beyonce's not going to be anyone's VP, is she?
No, yeah, okay. What about Jay-Z? Do they get along? I don't think they get along.
It's not going to be
do they?
Kanye. That much we can be sure of.
No, it's not. Definitely not going to be Kanye. I think.
It'll be one of her crew. Maybe Blake Lively. Like, she was sitting next to Taylor at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
she's Mrs. Ryan Reynolds, Charles. She hasn't done a thing since Gossip Girl, actually, Blake Lively.
Blake Lively's funny.
Yeah, so she could be a great vice president. She can't do the comic relief.
I think you need to appeal to a different audience, though, don't you? You need to appeal to a decrepit old people.
Joe Biden could be the vice president.
He makes he's the most experienced vice president ever.
I don't think, are there any term limits on a vice president?
No.
I don't think there are.
No.
You know what would be funny, actually? If you're going for the pop culture candidacy, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Can you imagine if she actually had the job? That's actually worth doing.
That would be totally worth it. Like, people would vote for it just for the lols.
They would.
Yes.
They would. And also, she'd be really good at it.
No,
she's
great.
very smart.
Yes, that's good. I like that. I mean, going back, who are our other vice presidents over the years? Who was George W. Bush? Dick Cheney.
Cheney.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. Is he dead now? You can't. It was impossible to tell, wasn't it, with Dick Cheney?
I think Barack Obama could come back as a VP, couldn't he? There's no rule against him being a VP.
Well, I think he couldn't because he couldn't be president. I'm not sure. But Dick Cheney is still alive.
Yeah.
And even if he isn't alive, he'd be more effective as a sort of robotic corpse.
What about Donald Trump as the vice presidential candidate?
Like of national unity, they could bring together
the nation.
That's very good.
Yes.
Or Ivanka could do it.
Yeah. Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
Pence.
Mike Pence, I mean, you got to say, Mike Pence actually did manage to resist the coup. I wasn't expecting him to actually hold off the coup.
No.
History will remember Mike Pence fondly for about 3 hours of his life.
Yes.
Those 3 hours, and only those 3 hours.
Yes.
So, okay, well, this is exciting stuff. It's all happening here in Australia.
Isn't it good that we are able to sort of bring an analysis of American politics that you just don't get when you're over in the US?
And pop culture and sport. I really think of this podcast, the highlight would have to be our incisive analysis of what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there'll be sports buffs now tuning in to this.
Absolutely.
This episode will go viral. I feel like this has been one of our strongest episodes ever.
Well, we mentioned Taylor Swift, so I presume all the Swifties will listen.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Swifties.
Yes. And then when she actually does declare her candidacy, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. You didn't see it here first. We're in the limited view section at looking at a wall or a bollard or something.
We've got to go. I've got to get online.
Yeah, let's go and book tickets.
Our gear is from Road. We are part of the Iconoclast Network. Catch you tomorrow.
Hail to the chief, Taylor Swift.